It's recording. I did it.
Yay, fantastic, Maria. Fancy seeing you here. That is quite amazing.
I know these things just happen, don't they?
I'm talking to you on Zoom, and I go, what is going on here? Just a random.
Yeah. I just show up whenever you turn on Zoom.
That's
I'll be
it.
there,
This
ready
is
to grill you with questions.
what to drink tea.
Just kidding. Yeah, drink tea. I mean, how nice though to have company in this way.
That's true.
My
Yes.
dog's not talking back, so
No, my teapot is not talking back either. I try, but it's not happening.
uh, yeah. So, hi.
Maria. Oh man, what a year it's been already. It's only it's only the 12th of January.
I know. I saw this great meme where this woman was, they had those signs. It's like how many days since there's been a last incident. And it's like, how many days are we incident free 2021? And she took down like the number 6 and she's like 0.
Yeah, this is it. It's happening on a daily basis. It's going crazy.
Yeah. But I do think it's funny because we're, you think like beginning the new year is like turning a page or beginning again. And really, it's about our minds too. I mean, it is an invitation to begin again and, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, for me it's definitely. I mean, there's so many I know a lot of people now with COVID,
yeah,
some pretty bad state, some just, and that's about it.
yeah,
But and then of course a lot of people lose their jobs and stuff like that, or difficult to make ends meet. But man, yeah, it's not easy. And but I think yeah, that's why we have to go back to that beginner's mind. And we both like Ray Suzuki, great Zen teacher. And
yes.
ta-da, ta-da, make the sound, ta-da, Zen Mind Beginner's Mind.
It's backwards, but Zen Mind Beginner's Mind.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, no, what I really like that book actually. I bought it really early on in my own journey,
Mm,
so somewhere in India when I was living there, and I devoured it. I thought it was so good. It really
mm.
helped me to see things in perspective. I've read it many times afterwards. I read some of his other books as well, many times.
Yeah. I think it's good to read things again and again
Yeah, yeah.
because I think you really can kind of live in it a little more and you kind of pick up some things that you can understand in a different way.
I mark always my books, and then when I read it again, I go like, "Why didn't I mark this? This is good." It's because my mind is different.
Yeah.
When you keep practicing, then of course you have a different understanding, and sometimes you need to read things twice, 3 times, 500
Mm.
times, 10,000
Mm.
times for the penny to drop, and then you go, "Oh, of course, that's what they mean," or yeah. But I like these Zen teachers like that. They're so clear, aren't they?
Yeah, it is. And it's not about collecting knowledge or, it's about really seeing again something in a fresh way, without judgments, without expectations.
I think this is so important within the system of Reiki. I spoke to a friend the other day and we were talking about this. And, there's quite a few Reiki researchers.
Mm,
It was great. I started off doing that until I realized that researching doesn't get me anywhere. It's just in my mind, in my head. It's fun, it's great, but do we really need to know which specific date this happened and that happened, But is really sitting down on our butt and do the practice. And if
mm,
we really want to honor the system of Reiki, then that is really where we have to go. Sit on the butt and do the meditation practices. And this is why, currently I do those 21-day meditation practices. The new one coming up, I already made one new for this morning.
Fantastic. Thank you.
But yeah, and that's you can really see also in those books by, for example, Senrei Suzuki, this direct experience. And that's why their writing is also so clear and it touches you. And when I read that, I really feel I get a blessing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that's because that openness.
Yeah.
You know, the openness to receive not just the words on the page, but kind of that experience, because you yourself have had that direct experience again and again and again.
Yeah,
So it really helps.
Minds, and for me also those masters, in a way, they're beyond that past, present, future. And therefore, when you read it, you tap into that essence, that essential true nature or true self, how we often call it in Zen. And yeah, when we read it like that, then we feel that within ourselves. Sometimes I'm reading a book by she's like Tuku Ergen, Dainichi Katakiri, and Rei Suzuki, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just having a Reiki treatment here or a Reiju, do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, lovely. Yes, lovely. Yeah, and I think why not, how beautiful just to have that blessing more and more in our lives, right?
Yeah, and so necessary too. But for me also, when we sit on the butt, then we try to really instigate our own blessing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, that's not from anyone else.
Yeah, it's always some people, they keep chasing after these blessings, Reiju here, Truman there, more system, Smith Reiki, dolphin Reiki, whatever we come up.
I mean,
Teapot Reiki,
tea Reiki would be nice. But you can, but there is like a thing, there is like a, that thing of that everything is sacred in life. Our tea is sacred and dolphins are sacred and we are sacred too. So we really kind of accept that about ourselves, we can see it in everything else. But you're right, not to chase down all these different certificates, that the certificates aren't what it's about. It's about really finding that within yourself.
Yeah, I like what you say about sacredness. For me, ultimately, we come to an understanding that everything is sacred. Even a dog poo is sacred. I mean, we don't see it this way.
Right.
Out in front of the park, but because when we start to see this is sacred, this is not sacred, we constantly affirming this duality. We never go beyond it, and so therefore we have to. It's the same with gratefulness in the precepts.
Yeah.
And, often people only are grateful for the good things, whatever that might be. But I was speaking the other day about COVID. Yes, I'm traveling less, or less income, etc. And then I said, actually, but it's been really good that I'm not traveling in 2021 and now. And they go, what? You're making less income, etc. I said, yeah, but I actually, my mother is, in her 80s. And then I said, oh, but now I can look after my mother more. And I go there once every second day, go for coffee or lunch or dinner. And she loves it, and so that's been a silver lining in. So yes, I have to also be grateful for COVID. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like when I go and train with the people, like a teacher, I kind of have to have that openness of just trust. Like I trust this teacher will lead me in a certain way, or, will teach me what give me what I need. But experiences are the same way too.
Absolutely.
Right. And sometimes we see a teacher and we have an ego and we don't want, to hear what they have to say. Right? Because it's a really hard lesson or it's a really big truth and it's difficult, and sometimes I want my teachers to be just happy and, but our experience in life is not just all the good times.
No, I mean, I notice this a lot, when people come to class, they want to hear what they want to hear. And if
Yeah.
they don't hear what they want to hear, if it is not according to their belief system or ideas, then they get angry at the teacher or upset. But then you actually enter a class, your teacup is already full. You have and as they say in those Zen teachings, make your teacup empty before you enter the class. And, my teacher in Japan, Takeda-san, is, man, he is strict. He is like, well, he can be very funny and he can be very kind. And other times he is like, yes, sensei. And he's really pressing those fucking buttons, and you go like, but
He's
then
so great.
you realize what he's doing and what actually is perfect. Yeah. I was thinking about something because I had another talk with a friend, and we were talking about protection, and his protection in the system of Reiki. And I read somewhere on this forum, they were talking about, when you draw the first symbol on someone, they protect it, it works, and I go, well, it works. So I wrote back, it was a bit teasy. Well, if that really works, then go out, please, and do the first symbol on everybody in the UK, and then we don't need vaccinations because there will be no more corona. But this is, if you really think about it, right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
We think about these things and we say, oh, now I'm really protected, whatever, no one can hurt me, well, or I do this on someone and they're protected. But these are just often fantasies we tell ourselves,
Yeah.
And we don't really look beyond it, because then if that is the case and I could do this, then yes, go and stand on Piccadilly Circus. Everybody comes along and you draw quickly the symbol. Next. And within the meantime, everybody in the UK is COVID-free. But we know that that is not really working.
Right.
If we really think about it. And this is also what I like about these Zen teachers, that they really go with these kind of stories where they show you that, hang on, you've been living a dream, it's not really the truth. You're just making up stuff.
Making up stuff.
What is this doing, right?
But I think the first symbol is about being empowered.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Being really strong and having that inner fire, that energy or that awareness, so that you aren't as unstable or you're not as, affected by everything that's happening in your life. You're less worried, you're less angry, and that kind of thing. So I think that's probably that misunderstanding.
Yes, because that time that is not just waving it once in the air over someone and saying, it's like a lot of people nowadays say, oh, just have the one achievement and that's it, or 6 achievements, and I go, really, if that would be the case, then after 1 or 4 or 6 achievements, then we have no more anger, no more worry, no more fear. Let's do it on everybody in America. And America is the happiest, most compassionate country in the world.
Line up, everybody. Take a number.
Pick a number. Ta-da. But we know this is not the truth, But
No.
again, we don't think about these things most of the time, very superficial. And this is why, I really gravitate towards these Zen masters who write these books, who are, so honest. I did one story in Zen Suzuki. I'm not sure which book. And so Zen Suzuki is sitting, a student comes, oh, Zen Suzuki, I'm meditating and I'm seeing Buddha. And he goes, keep practicing, it will disappear. I love it. So simple and yet so profound. Really, don't get distracted by what you see or hear or taste, etc. Just keep practicing and it will disappear. But this is just, I like it. It's just so clean cut, straight to the point, no bullshit. Chaka.
Yeah, it's true. I kind of think about that as like, also I kind of think I've been thinking a lot about mindfulness and how that was such a big trend, and it's still a trend. But then people get bored with the word mindfulness. Yeah, I know what mindfulness is, right? I know what it is. I've got that, right?
Got it.
But it's only a very small aspect and of what it means. It's like beginner's mind, it's mindfulness means that you practice being so focused again and again and again in your practice, whatever you're focusing on, maybe the breath or just sitting or walking or, whatever it is, right? So that your kind of your automatic pilot mind, like when you're driving and you forget where you're going, your habits of thinking and being are this space of emptiness or mindfulness, being very present and being very empty of thoughts or feelings, or, I mean, not like a robot, but just that more openness of living.
Yeah, I think this is definitely, I think, in a modern mindfulness meditation movement, I think, again, like yoga, for example, or the system of Reiki, we have simplified it so much that we forget that true mindfulness is actually emptiness,
Yeah.
and emptiness is not being caught up by past, present, future, no clinging. Thoughts will come, but we don't cling to it. And man, that is not a week course. It's not a 2-day course. It's not a 2-year course. It's the rest of our life, because we're so in this habitual pattern of clinging. And we need something direct. And I find it is very necessary to actually, I think it's really important in modern mindfulness, in yoga, and the system of Reiki, that we point out these mistakes, what mistaken viewpoints, what we have about it, the simplifications. And of course, it's great that it's now more globally, people talk about yoga and Reiki and mindfulness, but if it only stays on a superficial level, then it's no use. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think it's like, there's different layers to that, different layers to the understanding of beginner's mind or mindfulness or emptiness.
Yeah.
And then you have to kind of go deeper into that understanding, but you can only do that through your own direct experience, by doing it again and again and again. That's why I like what you're saying too, is that so that we're kind of training ourselves to be more focused or more open-minded, or however you want to say it, that empty bowl. We're training ourselves to do that, to have that kind of habit in our everyday life, not just when we sit and meditate, but
it needs to be coming out of, into it, as you say, into our life, in every cell element we do. And it's so easily tested in a way. This is why I also like those Zen masters.
That's me. I'm just kidding.
Because they just really direct. They press a button and they see if you do get angry or worried or fearful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people might know this story. When in 2012, I went for the first time to my teacher. Yeah, I was vegetarian for 20 years. And on the third night, for dinner, we have raw fish. And, then he asked afterwards, did you get angry? Did you feel worried? Did you want to eat it or not eat it? Of course, he saw that I ate it, etc. But these are tests they put you to see if your mindfulness is just superficial, or your meditation or your practice is superficial, or just intellectual, or actually is it a direct experience? And, that is, for me, really, really important. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that story, but it's also made me think about, of course, a lot of, for me, I've had some struggles, whatever we all have, but what do we do with our fear and our worry in these times, And I think it's that it is a teacher. It is that great, it's the teacher right now.
Yeah, it's a big teacher. Yeah, to really saying how do we deal with it, and if we can't deal with it, adjust your practice, or maybe change your practice, or talk to your teacher and say, hey, I've been. But this is also, we
Mm.
say we hear these people say, I've been practicing for 20 years, but that's not true either. We haven't been practicing for 20 years because we practice maybe this much a day, right? This tiny little bit. So in those 20 years, we might have been practicing one fucking day, but you know what I mean?
And what if you're practicing this much, but with a very distracted mind,
Well, this is true. Yeah. Yeah.
or trying to attain something, or, all those things, right?
Yeah. I have here, I just looked it up. I have here a wonderful quote from Zen Mind Beginners Mind. For Zen students, the most important thing is not to be dualistic.
Mm.
Our original mind includes everything within itself. Oh, I like it. And here, here's another one from Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. If your mind is empty, it's always ready for anything. It's open to everything. Oh, nice.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love that. Yeah, so it's really about, there's no, there's less and less separation between you and the rest of the world. So nothing to protect, nothing to judge.
yeah.
But I still feel like there's still things that happen in our life, there's still feelings that happen, but it's about, really allowing that instead of resisting everything or hiding or, stuffing it down, I guess, and
Well,
letting it come through you, right? Like just like the day or, this moment or,
experience and then let it go.
yeah.
So beautiful picture today, and I got it somewhere. I don't know. And it, but and it said, feel the hurt and then let it go.
Yes.
This is it, feel the anger, let it go, don't hold on to it. But this is, you see this in kids, they get angry with each other, these young little kids. 2 seconds later, they're the biggest friends again. While adults, we stay angry for 10 years or 15 years and we don't speak to each other. And we go, man, yeah.
It happens.
Bizarre. Okay, give me a page. Pick do you have a nice quote from your book?
Yeah, I do. Where was it? Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
They're all good. I'll just read the book. Hold on. Just kidding. I love this. When we inhale, the air comes into our inner world. When we exhale, the air goes out into the outer world. The inner world is limitless. The outer world is also limitless. And we say inner world or outer worlds when we breathe, but actually there's just one whole world.
Mm.
And in this limitless world, our throat is like a swinging door. So our throat, like our eye, is a swinging door that comes in and out of this inner and outer world.
Yeah.
But really it's not inner or outer, it's this whole universe.
Yeah, I like that idea. Often in those Zen teachers, they have like you have a cup, and they say, okay, here's the cup, or this is the eye, and we look inside, and we say, oh, that's very different than outside. But through the practice, we break the eye, and it cracks open. Then we cannot distinguish inside and outside anymore. It's just of one flavor.
Mm.
But this is again, that one quote I mentioned about the dualistic idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, is yeah. Here is another wonderful quote from Sunray Suzuki. The true purpose is to see things as they are, to observe things as they are, and to let everything go as it goes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That makes me really think about, I read this, sorry to kind of quote other books, but I read this book from Thich Nhat Hanh about true love.
Yeah.
So beautiful. It's such a beautiful book, but he says, you know, in order to really love somebody, you have to listen, you have to understand them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like that quote, like if you don't understand them, how can you provide what is needed?
Well, absolutely, yeah. But Thich Nhat Hanh is another wonderful teacher.
Zen teacher.
Again, is someone who had direct experience, sat on his butt, does the practice, and therefore, when you hear or listen, read, see these people, and you're open enough, then yeah, it's a really sharp, direct teaching, like a shortcut, you know. No bullshit.
No bullshit.
I love it.
It's beautiful, right? Yeah. And then when you have students who join you, you know, what a great place to be in is that openness,
Yeah.
being able to be to kind of see people as they are.
Yeah. Of course, yeah, but this is anything really, not just a person, but a tree or a cup or whatever, without that labeling. But you went to Plum Village. Tell me about Plum Village in France a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was beautiful, but it was so I mean, to me it was like, oh my gosh, they're all doing Reiki, but in a way that they don't call it Reiki. Of course. It's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's all the same, but it was this beautiful you know, there was vibrancy to that whole space because there were so many people who were just really empty.
Well, I mean, this is for me, you know, again, when we keep these distinctions
Oh yeah, okay.
about this and that, you know, like what you
Yeah,
say, you know, for you that felt like they were all doing Reiki, they might not call it Reiki. And
right.
therefore, I come back to that first quote I mentioned. For Zen student, the most important thing is not to be dualistic.
Right.
And this is it. We train our mind. We say, oh, Smurf Reiki is better than E-Reiki. No, but then, no, and the Reiki is much better, but it's more powerful, or this system and that system. And then we get so caught up in this dualistic idea where we see you, me, animals, trees, teacups, everything is something separate. And we get so caught up in that actually we're training our students or we're training ourselves to be dualistic, while ultimately, again, we come to this understanding, if we truly sit on our butt, that it's all of one flavor, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's what all those, you know, Thich Nhat Hanh or Sandre Suzuki or Lama Tupte Yeshe is another great teacher who points these out. You know, they all point the same thing out.
Right. Yeah, it's true. But they, you know, I think that deep practice that is very healing. It was very healing to experience for myself, and it really inspired me to continue to practice when I left there, because I could kind of see, you know, oh, I could understand a little deeper what my own kind of mind was like.
Yeah.
And how can I support my mind? Am I going to help my mind to focus on being distracted?
That's it. Yeah.
You know, or am I going to really be very focused in everything that I do? And I think that that's such a small thing. It's such a little thing to be focused and to be, you know, really there, or but it's such a huge impact on my life.
Well,
I
I think
don't know.
when you go to those places, you know, you really are being rubbed with your nose in how it should be. you know, and then again, we have the choices. As you say, you now have a choice to do that for yourself and try to participate in that or not. And if we want a better world, then the first thing is we have to go there within ourselves, you know. I can keep sending energy to the world, but if I'm myself still a shithead, then that sending energy to the world has no use, really. So you know, we have to really look at ourselves. This is why when I went to Plum Village, I learned the baguette technique. Did you learn the baguette technique?
I don't know. What is it?
Friend's baguette, and you keep whacking yourself on your head to see how you do it.
Oh, bread.
The baguette.
No, they wouldn't let me near the cooking. I'm just kidding.
The baguette technique is very important.
No, I do think, you know, I learned so much from that trip, but you know, it really helped me to strengthen my Reiki practice. And again, labels, whatever, it's all the same. You know, we develop ourselves and that interconnection, whatever you call it. But yeah, but I notice over time, of course, that we just pick up some more stuff. Darn it. So, you know, it's letting go of not being perfect, or not going anywhere, right? Not, you know, but also really enjoying and being open to what is in our lives.
Yeah, that's it. You know, like being completely open in that space to what is. And I could mark the whole book actually when I read some. Oh, this is nice too. I should have just not marked it, but yeah.
I've borrowed one of your books. It's true. It's all highlighted.
Ole, before we finish, do you have another quote of today? Give me one more quote. I will.
I can stop. Okay, I love this one. No trace. When you do something, you should burn yourself completely, like a good bonfire, leaving no trace of yourself.
Ooh, that is another one of my favorite ones. Yeah. This is, I mean, this is in the system of Reiki and all of these practices, we leave so many traces, you know, and the more traces we are, see the string, so we have a string attached. So if I have one string attached to you, it's okay, but then if over the whole day, I have 50 strings attached to what I've been doing, and then I turn around, I'm tied up like a roll mop, you know, whatever it's called. And then I can't move and my energy becomes stagnant. So for me, you know, when we do a treatment, don't have any expectations. Don't look for that the person says something, or for yourself, you know, it's the same thing. The more we look for things in our own practice, then we caught up. We're tying ourselves down with all this stuff. So yeah, whatever we do, burn it.
Right.
And then you're free. Then you're completely free, because then we're not tied down.
That's beautiful. My two boys were in the Boy Scouts. They're in the Eagle Scouts, or they were Eagle Scouts, whatever. Anyway, so we were part of that. We really helped out a lot and enjoyed it a lot. And they talk about when you go out into to nature, that when you leave no trace that you were ever there.
Yeah.
And they really practice that, but of course, it's like with the trash and everything and all that stuff, like you don't leave trash. But I really think, you know, with this quote or with these practices, it's also, we don't leave a trace in our relationships, that if there's trash that we leave, that we take care of that in ourselves. Like if I'm struggling or have anger or worry, then I need to take care of that for myself.
Absolutely.
And let it go, burn it up. or let it go. But also if I've made a mistake with someone else, to take the time to try to, make amends or, say I'm sorry, all those things, because it's out of, and I think it comes from that natural place of compassion though. Not that you have to be perfect or anything, but because you can see someone else, that you've left a trace of suffering in someone else.
Yeah, and this is a self-responsibility. We have to be self-responsibility to burn that stuff. No, often we blame other people, but those teachers really point towards self-responsibility. Go and sit on your butt and practice and burn that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So when big things are happening, like in American politics, or we have 1 minute, I'm just kidding, or COVID, I also think we have to really care about our own, how we're feeling, and really kind of burn those things up too. And that means helping us to be grounded and stable in our lives and in our own, embody ourselves so that we are resilient and continue to recover from the worry and the stress and the anger, right? So we're not carrying that on into the future with ourselves.
Because that's also traces. That's also,
right.
Everything needs to be burned. Yeah. Here's another, I like it.
Wait, how are we burning it up?
Suzuki. This is the way. Our way is not to sit to acquire something. It's to express our true nature. If we sit there to acquire something, I want a special power. I want this. I want protection. I want love. I want recognition. I want to be famous. I want to feel this. I want to see colors. I want to hear the universe speak. Then we have an attachment already. We're not burning. And therefore, when we sit without trying to attain anything, then that fire automatically is there. That's
beautiful. Well, thanks for meeting with me today.
That was great. Tea time with Maria.
Tea time. Good thing your bowl's empty.
Voila. Green tea. Cheers.
Beautiful. Cheers. Love you. Thank you.
Love you too. And yes, I speak to you later. Keep dancing, keep free, and keep practicing, keep burning away, and read some good books. But it's not just reading good books, because then it just says intellectual. Go and sit on your butt and do the practice.
Yes, keep practicing. All right. Love you. Bye.
Bye.